Okay, hello everybody. Thank you for joining us in this app ARV Learn by Doing. Um, this will be uh, published as a YouTube webinar, so I know many more will be watching this. Now, the first half hour or so, I always do a topic which is certainly on this subject, and I always find it interesting to delve into it a little further, and so I learn more and more too. In this case, it's all psychological, which was a statement Joe McMoneagle made many, many years ago when he was being interviewed, and he was talking about his book, Remote Viewing Secrets. And one of the things he said is there really are no secrets. Basically, it's all psychological. So let's get into that. Here's the outline. We'll talk about it's all psychological for about a half an hour. And then the rest of the time, we'll be actually doing a GARV prediction, which will be a sports prediction, over-under prediction of the LA Lakers versus the Washington Wizards. And GARV stands for Group ARV. I'm sort of breaking a GARV tradition, but with sports, I will actually share with you the prediction, which I hope will make it more fun for you and encourage more of you to come and do GARV predictions. But during the week, we do roulette predictions and do not share them. Okay, so let's get in a good, happy mood. Happy faces help do that. Intention is one of the key concepts here, and then bringing joy in always helps. And then there's GARV. Now, Einstein captured something which is very, very important, and that is the intuitive mind is a sacred, right? Sacred gift, right? From the divine, whatever you want to call it, but it's a gift for something bigger than our normal intellectual ego selves. So the intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. Intuition is so important. And here's what GARV is all about. On these top three lines, it is talking about the way it goes in linear time. It starts with a remote viewing, and GARV session. This also works for health, and describe and sketch your feedback target. Okay, and how do you do that? You do that intuitively. We're going to give you a number, and you'll see, and you open yourself up, and you get stuff. It's almost impossible to not get stuff. And you write that down, and you generate a transcript. Notice it says describe and sketch your feedback target. Well, that comes in the future. In the future, and we emphasize the feedback target by making it a positive feedback target, and we'll be talking about that. And there you also describe and sketch your feedback target, but here it's front-loaded, but that's okay because information from here is going to be shared with your remote viewing session. So you intuitively pick up your remote viewing session information from your feedback session. Now, that just happens. And in between, there's a judging session. But in group ARV, you don't have to worry about that. I do that. So really, this is really simple. You do a remote viewing session, And then in this case, we're going to actually be doing a sports event. After the sports event, I will send back the outcome in terms of a photo site, a picture that has content. It's really that simple. It's amazing. And that's what makes it so powerful, because it really is simple. Now, underneath this simplicity is the fact that precognition, retrocausality, the information going from here back to here, is very, very deep. And now I'm going to share that with you, because precognition truly begins here with the feedback session. That's why it's so important. So your sub takes the information from your positive feedback session, and we're actually going to do one of those shortly. And your sub takes that as you do it. Your subconscious is very well aware of it, and it shares it like a handshake with your intuitive remote viewing session. Okay, so here you are with your remote viewing session. Your sub is the ability now to share that information. The deepest part of this is that this information is shared through something which is called the universe of collective consciousness. That is called by Ingo Swann, the Matrix. It's got lots and lots of names that go way back. I call it the universe of collective consciousness because that's what it is. Anything consciousness touches is here. And consciousness in its ultimate form is non-physical. So this is actually a spiritual world. The universe of collective consciousness is indeed spiritual. And the sub can make this handshake because everything is in here. The information from here is in here. It gets to share it again through your sub. And all of this is done with what I call entanglement energy, where it's focused intention. And the intention, again, is so key: positive expectation and joyful emotion. You want to enjoy all this. You may not enjoy it all the time, but if you're not enjoying it most of the time, do something else. You are right at the edge of consciousness research in general. You are researchers into your own consciousness. And so this really is fun. Okay, I hope that's reasonably clear. In linear time, you do your remote viewing session, describe and sketch your feedback target, which comes later. And through a positive feedback session, seeing the target, all of that is shared. So it becomes a very nice loop, which in a way is outside of space and time. The universe of collective consciousness, the spiritual world, is outside of space and time. Now, consciousness, which is what you're using here, is fundamental. This has been known for millennia, but I'm going to give you two quotes from the founders of quantum mechanics. Max Planck said, "I regard consciousness as fundamental. I regard matter as derivative from consciousness." So the non-physical spiritual world is where matter comes from. It's where your body comes from. It's where your nervous system comes from. It's where your consciousness comes from, that you experience through your subconscious. We cannot get behind consciousness. Everything that we talk about, everything that we regard as existing, postulates consciousness. Another way of saying the same thing, consciousness cannot be accounted for in physical terms, for consciousness is absolutely fundamental. It cannot be accounted for in terms of anything else. And this is Schrodinger. He is the author of the famous quantum mechanic equation. And these guys were kind of forced into that. Now, here's another, this is also by Planck. Science cannot solve the ultimate mystery of nature. He's thinking consciousness. And that is because in the last analysis, we ourselves are a part of the mystery that we are trying to solve. Now, intellectually, we may never solve the grand mystery of consciousness. However, we can learn much about consciousness by direct personal self-awareness as we apply precognition. So, summary here, okay, we cannot solve the mystery of consciousness, but we can, and it's not quite clear what the right word here is, understanding is pretty intellectual. I think appreciate is better. Grok is even better, where you deeply get something, but we can appreciate its depth and therefore apply consciousness. Now, I want to get into a little more quantum mechanics to actually make this, believe it or not, more believable to you. There's something called the zero-point energy field. All physicists accept this. And according to the quantum field theory, even in a perfect vacuum, devoid of matter, there is still a large residual energy called zero-point energy. That's not debatable. Many conventional scientists, however, will say that the zero-point energy field, which is at the very, 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 very small, this is a conceptual one blown up 10 to the 35 times, it's just conceptual, but there's energy coming from, in classical physics, from nothing and disappears back into nothingness. But that is, as I'm going to show you, kind of garbage. But the fact that this exists, since space itself is thought to break up into a kind of quantum foam at a tiny distance scale called the Planck scale. So this is quantum mechanics, 10 to the minus 31 meters, right? Very, 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 very small. If that's the case, the zero-point energy densities would be 110 orders of magnitude greater than the radiant energy at the center of the sun. Now, I'm not making this up. This comes from Caltech, Introduction to Zero-Point Energy. So that's how much energy is down there. You don't experience it because it's very, very conscious, very, very constant. It's like going to the deepest part of the ocean. If you went down there from the surface, you'd be crushed. However, the little fish there, and they shake their tails and they move around and they're doing fine, thank you, because they're small variations, which is what make up our life. Okay, and then finally, how do you connect all of this? Okay, the zero-point energy field, which is envisioned here, connects the physical life and the UCC, the universe of collective consciousness, the spiritual, and it connects the physical life to the spiritual world. And this is where subtle energy, which is being talked about more and more in the context of healing, but it's also the energy which gets used based on intention to give you the remote viewing information which matches your feedback target. So this is, in the deepest sense that I know, and I feel I know this because I know there's a spiritual world. I know there's retrocausality, precognition. I've seen it, probably most of you have seen it. And so the spiritual world through the 0-point energy field connects up with the physical life. And the very early phases of it is where intention comes in. And that's subtle. That's a subtle energy. But then, of course, the full energy comes in through there as well. If there are any questions, this might not be a bad time. Okay. Inner power and wisdom. Inner power. The power and the wisdom of God, the divine, the higher self. There's so many different words. I once made a list of them, and you can come up with like 20 different synonyms which different people use for God. But God's a pretty good general word for the highest thing that you can imagine, the divine. And the power and the wisdom of God literally reside on the inside of us. The 0-point energy is in every point in the physical universe, but it comes from the spiritual, and that's where God is. And so God does reside inside us. And that's, in many ways, a better way of saying it than this kind of physics thing, but it says the same thing. And I believe that all psi phenomena can be explained and improved using the idea of dipping into the UCC and entangling, dipping into the spiritual and entangling information which is passed on to the conscious mind from something which is conveniently called the subconscious. Okay, now the subtle energy, which is the very first, if you will, energy which comes up from the 0-point energy field, for millennia, the Chinese, the Japanese, thousands and thousands of years ago, and I think they were the equivalent of shamans as far back as, their records, but this is sometimes called chi or ki. Right now, many authors are talking about it being the subtle energy body, subtle energy, and this is information streams of grace from the divine. So we've talked about that. I hope you understand how deep this goes in you. Now, Ingo Swann had a message which basically said his message was simple. We are born with limitless potentials. We are basically infinite. We are godlike, capable of using more than just the 5 senses we are told are our only senses. And in living life, we should let go of our demons, which is basically anything that makes you not think you're infinite, if you will, makes you think that you only have 5 senses, for example, and embrace our angelic parts and overall do as little harm as possible, as little harm to ourselves and to others. So indeed, this infinity is in you, and intention with manifestation, this intention uses subtle energy, allows manifestation of all forms, and you've got that ability. You are all powerful. Seek to know the power that is in you. Joseph Campbell said that, a very famous philosopher. And then freedom of choice is more to be treasured than any possession earth can give. And I'm putting that in the concept of belief choices. Do you believe that you are basically infinite? And you have to understand, and this is well known in mathematics, there are different levels of infinity. There's just not like one. Yes, God is infinite, but you are infinite too. And as you get wiser and learn more and maybe decide to approach God, decide to expand your other senses, your level of infinity indeed grows. But you're starting with a level of infinity already. You know how I know? You're a conscious being. Consciousness is pretty amazing. So you and I have this consciousness. It's in each of us. And the primary connection which we can have and should seek to have is love. And I don't know if any of you are old enough to remember Buzz Lightyear, but my kids loved Buzz Lightyear. And his famous saying was, "To infinity and beyond." And that concept is what we're talking about here. You are infinite, and you can go to higher levels of infinity. The concept is valid. And I don't know, just to say it another way, right? The 10 million people here, each of them have a piece of infinity, but infinity divided by 10 billion is still infinity. And it can be raised individually. Eventually, hopefully, it'll be raised in a societal sense as well. Okay, so infinity is in you. Now, I'm saying this a lot so that you get it. Maybe as I say it over and over again, you'll get it. And starting again, belief is so important. Here is a book. You are infinite. You are eternal. You are God. And this person added, and more importantly, you are me, because we are one. We're all connected through the spiritual. And then inside, I am infinite. Inside, you are infinite. And this was a very spiritual way that was said, done by Michelangelo. And here's God passing on consciousness, soul, spirit to man. Okay, that's my take on this topic. Have any questions, any comments? It's all psychological. How powerful do you believe you are? Do you believe you can do precognition, retrocausality? I think sometimes you're being shy, but certainly don't be. If you have questions or comments, please turn on your mic or put them in the chat box. Fair enough. Okay, so you got it. You are infinite. So now let's go on to GARV. And we'll apply some of this infinity and get into this positive feedback, which I think is so important. So I'm going to have us jump right in. Get a sheet of paper. Did I say that? Yeah. Get a sheet of paper, pen, relax. On the top of the sheet on the left, put the number 746432, which we call a coordinate. Some call it a transcript reference number, and indeed that is just what it is. It's a reference number for the feedback target. And if you've never done any of this before, don't worry, this is the easy part. What you're going to do is simply relax. When I go to the next page, you will repeat that coordinate under the one you've written already. And just to make me happy, draw a little squiggle. Squiggle is called an ideogram. And then stuff will come to you. And write that on the paper. And that is your transcript. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes and start now. Two minutes.
2 minutes, counting down.
This is a positive feedback exercise, not the sporting event. Just put on your paper. In 2 minutes, you'd be surprised how much information you can get. You have a minute to go. Don't think, just let the information flow. Okay, time is up. Write end or EOS for end of session on the bottom of your transcript. And you just did a short GARV remote viewing session. I'm now showing you the feedback. This is the target. You now have it. I now want to show you the positive feedback protocol, which you should do with that. So always do positive feedback. You're always going to get feedback. Circle or mark matches on your transcript. Enjoy. These are the ones that you got right on. And then on a new sheet of paper, do the RV session you wish you had done. This is your positive feedback session. Now on this new sheet of paper, you write PFB on the top, write the coordinate again, and here's where the stuff you missed goes. So, relatively simple sketches. We want this to be like tracing. And if you miss something visual, do a quick sketch of it. Sound, touch, smells, taste, feelings, emotions, all of those new words and phrases. If you miss something, and then enjoy this and add love and joy. Now, what I want to do now is let me copy this And I'm gonna, hopefully I'll put it on the screen with the instructions. That's there. There we go. And now get this here. So on the first one, circle what you did on your transcript. You probably got some things right. Did you get structure? Did you get hot? Did you draw some squares? Did you get brown? Did you get red or orange? Hot? Now, if you didn't get any of those, that's where the positive feedback comes in. On this new sheet of paper, what do you wish you had done? I mean, just a simple sketch kind of with a triangle and maybe a rectangle there with something coming up and over it. Hot, you know, maybe drawing something here, hot, drawing something here. This does not have to be elaborate. There are always two possible targets. We just want enough to distinguish the one from the other. So when you do your positive feedback, and it's not just visible, I call these often photo sites, because while you've got the images here, something very hot, you can safely imagine putting your hand in there and feeling warmth, feeling heat. And that's what you should do. You can put your hand in here and feel the roughness in this part of the wood, and you could feel the wood. So you could, that's how you're going to get that information, which you put in your positive feedback. Wood, you can see there are quite a few rectangles around. Somewhere on your sheet, you might want to put a rectangle. But as I said, even if you just put one here and some stuff coming up and the triangle, you've captured a major part of this. And there's a line here, and depending on how, again, you don't want to do a trace, but you can do a sketch and a line there and a rectangle over there on your sheet of paper. Anybody want to put it up on their camera and we can take a look at it? The positive feedback one. That is absolutely the key. Yeah, I got to go back a little bit. Okay, wait, okay. I guess I want to see your sketch and then you can read it. Tell me about your sketch. What's your sketch do? So wait, you got to turn on your mic. Okay, yep. You have a lot of words and you have a sketch there. I wish I could make it bigger. Oh, you know what? There is a way to make it bigger. I think everybody can do that. Show active speaker now. Okay. And what words did you put?
Well, my feedback: hard, splintery, bright, yellow, black, acrid, overwhelming, wooden, sooty, hot, roaring, loud, long, square, triangle, tall, moving, upward, hollow, large. My aesthetic impression was very scary.
That is so good. And you used another word in there. Read them from the top. There was a word in there which was clearly from you.
A hard, splintery, bright, yellow, black, acrid. That was a smell. overwhelming wooden.
Overwhelming is one of those words which clearly came from your subconscious as you're looking at this. And I would bet in other situations, you might have put overwhelming in your remote viewing session.
Yeah.
How much overlap did you have?
Well, here's my original. I've got check marks by the ones that matched, but I did not hit this one very well at all.
But you got how many check marks?
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 out of about 25, but the others were just totally off.
Well, that's typical. A 9 is pretty good, so don't feel too bad. I love it when it's half or more, but you only had 2 minutes. Okay, somebody else want to share, please, and tell us about your sketch and give us your words. Okay. Yeah, Paula, you're a newbie, and I see you turned on. Go ahead, turn on your mic and tell us
Okay.
what you did.
Okay, I don't know. Boy, I didn't really get very long to go into it, and I got moving, up and down moving, light colors at the top, dark starting at the middle. I felt something was like a misty damp. I got the hazy of the smoke, but my picture was really like there was nothing to my picture. Can you?
Right. But wait, the
That was-
other things you told me were in your remote viewing session?
Yeah, that was the first one. And then
That's
I
the remote
did the
viewing
second one.
session.
Huh?
That's really good. You got smoke. Read the words again from your remote viewing session.
Like hazy smoky, light colored at the top. I thought that meant light colored was the sky, but dark from the middle down. So I got light at the
You
top.
thought that was your intellect. Don't let your intellect get in there. You got light at the top, and there it is. Okay, what else?
And then dark from the middle down. And I got something moving up and down. And then for some reason, this is 100% wrong. Something in there felt like a misty damp.
Okay. But you marked a fair number of those, as I hope you circled them, mark them somehow, because you got a lot, and you got a lot of significant stuff. You really did. That's your remote viewing session. Did you do a positive feedback session?
Yeah, I just copycatted it. So I drew the house. Is that what we were supposed to do? I drew the house.
Yes. Yes. It's just what
And
you
then
were supposed to do.
I added hot. That's the one. I wish I would have picked up heat, and then it was more smoke. I think I got more hazy from my remote session, less smoky. I wish I would have picked up the smoke. And then the plant would have been nice I didn't feel like there was a plant.
Where do you see? I don't see much of a plant.
Down at the bottom left-hand corner, isn't that a tree?
Okay, yeah, could be. Yeah, maybe. You got good eyes. For me, it still looks black, and you picked up the black over here. Paula, I know you told me you are a newbie here. Let me tell you, that was excellent. Now, the other things you
Oh,
can put
thank
on your
you.
positive feedback is rectangle. There were
Okay.
rectangles here, wood, right? There's wood here. The more things that you put, the more likely you are then to get them during your remote viewing session. But
Okay.
you did a very good remote viewing session. Okay, I think we have time for one more. I thought there was one more person that put on their mic. Anybody else wanted to do this? I can't remember who it was. Might have been you, Carla. I'll pick on you. Okay, well, I hope you've got the idea. Again, your positive feedback session should have all the good stuff you had before, but probably a better sketch, capturing things like the triangle, rectangles, hot, and drawing something coming up from that rectangle, wood, coarse. Remember, you can use all of your senses here. You go to the site, and I always say, go with your hand. You're not going to get burnt. You're doing this in the non-physical. You're doing this in the spiritual. So you can touch this very safely and really capture all the information which you didn't get the first time around. Okay. Misty damp fire hoses. Did you get that? I don't see, but I don't see any here. That would not be a good thing to do. In fact, when I was looking this up on Google, there was another one with people, and I didn't choose that because I wanted to make this more focused on the fire and the house. And there are no fire hoses here. So we call this kind of intense. You only do what you can really see here. Okay, or really clear. You don't know that they're firemen here at all. They maybe haven't gotten there yet. Okay, I think you've got this. If there are any questions, now is the time. And then this idea while you're doing it, positive emotions. It's not that I missed something. It's like next time I want to get this again. So you stay positive. And it's always, hey, the more love and joy you share with your conscious, when you're on the other side in that spiritual world, wouldn't you like to have as much of that as possible? Okay. Now I'm going to put this up here. If you guys want to come back and copy it, you can. It just summarizes like the textures, color, smells, taste, temperature, sounds, dimensions, aesthetic impact. You can go through all of these, a lot of words, hot. But I really recommend doing this during the positive feedback phase and just let your intuition get them. And so this is useful in the positive feedback sense to expand your vocabulary. And here is, I guess, where a copy of that is. Okay. I don't know if any of you are interested in that, but let me put it in the chat box. This comes off of my Outlook, so you should be able to get it if you want to. But as I say, I don't recommend like having in front of you when you're doing the remote viewing, because that becomes way too intellectual. You want to have it during positive feedback and transfer it so that your intuition picks it up during the remote viewing session. Okay. So now let's do a real prediction. You'll have more time. And we will now get into doing the over-under of the Lakers versus Wizards, Washington Wizards, LA Lakers. This is over-under. I don't want any attachment to one of the teams or the other. And so over-under, it's done by the game, what do I call them? Sports bookers, and they're really quite good. But nevertheless, there will be an over and under, and that's what you're predicting. And so there are two possible outcomes, over, one for under, and there are two possible photo sites. Now, remember, retrocausality is so important, and I got this picture. I love it, from an AI picture bot. And this is a wizard looking forward in time. And this is the same wizard looking backward in time, and their connection is like outside of time. That's what precognition and positive feedback is all about. So that's just another summary of what you're about to do. So you're going to do this now, and then after the game, I will send you the actual target. So I have sent this out to many of you who are already in the webinar workshop group. Let me, oh yeah. So what I want to do is copy this. Notice the date here, you know, all these numbers. A lot of this is just stuff to keep things okay on our server. But you can see it's 20403. I'm going to put that in the text box. Okay, just summarized it, but it's the same as that. Yeah, you can see. And if you click it there, what will come up is this. So this is really how easy it is. All of the, this says webinar workshop, and I hope you're all in other groups, because I do this one only once a month, first Wednesday of the month, but I would like you to be doing these every weekday, because I do the roulette every weekday. And you can see Lakers versus Washington, and here's that number. So the next step after you click that, hopefully you're all seeing this. In fact, let me just, I'm not going to put in my real one because I don't want to, but I'll put in this. And you can be doing that too with your own email, because that's where you're going to get the feedback. Oh, I can't believe it. Apps. Okay, and then when you click that, you will get your personal coordinates are all personal. So this coordinate is yours. As before, put it on the top left of your new sheet that will be your transcript for this. And you will not see the two possible targets ever. When you're done, you're going to email your transcript to me at marty@p-a.com. That in there as well. Oh, okay, very good, Susan. Well, in fact, that's the next thing we'll be doing, is putting new people. Now, you, of course, put that into that page, and then once you clicked what I gave you, I just want to make sure you did this right, Susan. You then should have gotten a page with your coordinate. So you have your coordinate, correct?
Well,
Yes or no?
I haven't looked yet. I'm just trying to get this small enough that I can go back and look at my email. This is
No. You can get it right from here. You
From
can get
here.
it right from the chat box. And
Oh,
just,
oh,
just
didn't even look at the chat box.
it will be in your email generally to make it real easy, because, but right
Okay,
here.
sorry. Yes, I definitely got it in my
first
chat
page.
box.
Okay, and you clicked on it and you should have gotten a coordinate. Well, you have to put in your email address.
Okay. Which one, the APP or the first page?
No, it's the first page.
Okay,
Yeah, this was for that.
okay, I got it,
was-
sorry.
Right, okay. And you put in your email address twice?
Yes,
And then you'll get your coordinate when you click it.
yes, I did. I got it.
Okay, so now everybody has their coordinate. And we're going to describe and sketch your particular coordinate. And I'm going to go over the protocol. Those of you who have done this before, I'm just repeating what you know, and you can feel free to do your GARV session. So step one is going to be describe and sketch your feedback photo site. And remember, you put your coordinate on the top left of your sheet of paper. Get a new sheet of paper. Sue, you have a new sheet of paper?
Yeah.
And then you put that on the top, and on the right, you put your name, webinar workshop, and then the date and time. That is standard because we hope you're going to be doing a lot of these. And then I'm going to be doing the analysis. You don't have to worry about that at all. I will let you know the outcome, which I'll do after I do the analysis, which I'm going to do after we finish here. And then you, remember the second phase, the one is remote viewing session we're about to do. And then after the game, I'm going to be sending you the correct feedback, and you'll do your positive feedback session with your transcript, just like you did with the example we had already. And this is the key step. After people start doing this a lot, they start getting sloppy with that. Don't get sloppy with it. This is the key step. Prediction is not completed until a thorough positive feedback session is completed. I think I've said that enough. I hope you got it deep in your gut. So, okay, I think I've registered. I'm not sure I have. Sue, you're new, and I have your email.
Right, isn't it? And how, tell me again how we send this session to you, how you want it through just a
In my
picture?
email, you'll send me your transcript page or two in an email to me.
Okay.
Okay, because then I can judge it. I judge your transcript. Okay, so webinar workshop. We built up 360 members. Let me add a member. Okay, so Sue, you're there. Directly added. Okay. Very good. Put in my email, send no email. Okay. Paula. Paula, just put the email in the chat box and I'll copy it from there. And it's not an email. On the very page, Paula, that you put in your email. Okay, first, let me get that, and then I'll make sure that you got a coordinate. Again, it doesn't sound like you got your coordinate yet. But let's take care of this first. Okay, anybody else not in this group? Or you want to be in the workshop webinar group?
Yeah, I mean, I do.
Okay, so far I've just added Susan and Paula.
Yeah.
Carl. Okay, so right. So let me group. So next month you'll actually get the email, and some people like to do it before the actual. You can wait, but some people like to do it before. So you guys have been added, and you should get an email verifying that. Sometimes it comes up right away. Yep, there you two are, Paula and Susan. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that. Now, Here, remember when I showed you this page? This is what you'll get in any of the groups you're in. It's that easy. And then you click there. But all I could do is, just because it's PowerPoint, is get a click here. And this click goes to WE Winning Entanglement first page. So that's what you need to click, Paula. So I'm going to click it. So if you click that, you'll get this page. So when you click the We first page in the chat box, you should get this. Did you get that, Paula? Want to make sure you're with me. That's what this is all, for newbies. Did you get it, Paula?
Yep, I'm heading back there now. I'm just looking at what the page is supposed to look back. I'm almost there.
Okay. Right. It looks like that. You got to get to that page.
Okay, I made it to the page. I'm putting in my email address.
There you go. And then click and you get your coordinate. Got it? And notice it's really easy because when you get it via email, all you do is click there. So that's how easy it is. And you'll get to that other page and you put in your email. So you have your
I have it. I have my coordinate. Thank you so much for taking the time to walk me through that.
No, that's what these are all about. Learn by doing. Okay. So we've done that. Okay, we've done the member list. We've done that. Okay, you've got your coordinate. Now, for the newbies, this is the way you start out. You put the coordinate on the top left, name, date, time, and group on the right. Remember, I'm hoping you're going to be doing lots of these and you're going to join our other GARV groups. We have one for each day. And you get better and better the more you do this. Joe McMoneagle used to do 6. I'm happy if you do 5. He did 6 per week. Okay, so you should have a sheet of paper like that. And then we're now about to do it. You drop your intellect, you drop your ego, you use intuition, and you're going to seek out your feedback. And you start by rewriting the coordinate and do an ideogram, a squiggle. Now, Joe McMoneagle and Tom McNair, old timers, go way, way back. Joe just summarizes by saying cool down is very important. And Tom does a silent prayer to an all-knowing entity, which is God. What we're about to do is, for our cool down, is a meditation, which will take 4 minutes. And it's actually on the page where you got your coordinate. And I recommend doing that. That's like a transition. And then I'm going to give you 7 minutes with a background, which is called SAM. It's a background, and that's on that page as well. And if you need more time, you take it. But after 7 minutes, I'll start talking again, which may or may not disturb you. But if you need more time, take it. Now remember, intention, intention, intention. This subtle energy that comes from the spiritual is guided by intention. And so you're going to entangle, connect with your positive feedback session. That's your intention. And then you pay attention to your subconscious, positive feedback info from the UCC, and the spiritual. And the ego, intellect's only job really is to maintain the transcript and protocol, to take the stuff which comes from the subconscious. If you're getting stuff from your ego, just put it on the right side and go on. And you want to pause and do a new squiggle to get new information, do just that. And I'll tell you when there's a minute left, but take as much time as you like. Okay, so getting ready for the meditation, you might take a few breaths, relax. As you relax into source, allow the universe to guide you. Ease becomes a way of being, and we're about to do an I am deep meditation.
So let us take some words into meditation, repeated simple phrases. First of all, just allow yourself to repeat. Do not be afraid. Imagine that is being said to you by your wise teacher that you acknowledge, Jesus, your Buddha nature, the Prophet, Allah, the universe, nature. But somewhere echoing around the universe is that deep-seated voice that says, don't be afraid. And perhaps as we touch into that phrase of don't be afraid, we recognize that as human beings we exist on many planes of existence, from our mortal frame, our minds and bodies, to an aspect of our being that is immortal, the soul, our essence. Each of us, during our lives, may touch into that truth. It may sometimes seem far away, sometimes may seem close. Some of us may live it moment by moment, recognizing that we are not just who we think we are. We're not our roles, our identities. So be open now, deep in our consciousness, deep in the unconscious. Allow ourselves to say quite simply, I am. Breathe in the word, I. Breathe out the word, am. Just sit for a moment, breathing, I am. Encouraging the sense of simply being. No need for an addition that I am this or I am that or I'm experiencing this. But I am open to, receptive to the deepest, very core of our being. This I amness has been said throughout time in all traditions. It is eternal. It is immortal. We open ourselves, are receptive to our essential nature, which does not know death. We who we think we are may pass away, the world may pass away, but it is only one plane of consciousness. Deep in the very core of our being is the immortal I amness, which all beings, all life, all creation possesses. And as we touch into that essential I amness, as we breathe in the word I, breathe out the word am. We remember that those are the very words when asked, who are you of the divine? That is exactly what the divine says. I am. And we say, I am. And all beings say, I am. The whole universe is saying, I am.
From this deep spiritual place and with your intention to describe positive feedback, do that now. 7 minutes.
7 minutes, counting down.
You have about 30 seconds left. Go down, draw one more, get more information, draw it again if you wish, or do nothing. May be done. Seven minutes are up. I'm going to start talking. You may want to take a deep breath. Sometimes you get into a different space when you do this. Now, if you didn't have enough time, just keep going. But when you're done, those of you who are done now, write end or EOS for end of session at the bottom of your transcript, and that finishes that. Okay, so you have the transcript in hand, and now send that transcript as an attachment, or sometimes people copy it and put it in the main text. But send that to me at that email address. Let me start my video. You may have noticed I'm wearing a hat and it said feedbacker, emphasizing how important feedback is, emphasizing it again and again and again. Positive feedback. Okay, so you're going to send the transcripts to Marty at b-i-a.com. And be sure to become members, be free or paid. Free can do 1 GARV a week. Paid can do 5. Yep, see Simona and Carla sent in those, so I'll be able to use those for my judging. So let me mark that. Mark that. So I guess I'm waiting for Paula and Sue, but take your time. I know you have to scan it or copy it. A lot of people use their smartphones.
I might have to, I'm gonna have to scan mine on my printer and then, but it'll get sent in very soon.
Okay, that's exactly right. And yeah, of course, I needed to do the judging, so just do it now. And so I need both of those. And I've got 2 for the people who left. Those are old timers. I may get others. And while you're doing that, you're going to be doing the positive feedback. While I'm doing is summarizing that. For afterwards, you have that. Hopefully. Well, I think you've done it enough that you know what to do. And here's just another one of these wonderful sayings. We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Very famous theologian. And then if there's anything we want to discuss, let me know. See how this is going. I guess we really don't have to wait. You'll both do it. If you have any problems, you can email me and tell me, but it sounds like you're on your way. So I think I will go forward and I can take a break, have a little lunch, and then I'll do the judging. So if there's any questions, I have a period for that. Focus on your positive feedback sessions and let your intuition guide you during your reviewing sessions. That's a summary of everything that we did. And again, you can do this every weekday if you're a full member. Full membership costs $25. I'm sorry, $65 a year. Or you can do one a week for free. You know what? Let me put in here. Here's our web page. And there's the membership page. I'm going to put that. Okay, thanks, Paula. And how are you doing, Sue? And there's the membership page for any of you who might want to do that. You know what? I think what I'll do. This is my typical ending: love, wisdom, beauty, joy. The end of all wisdom is love, love, love. These are wonderful statements. I got this from the Monroe Institute. They had a meditation, and I went into 4 pools, and we were supposed to come up with one word for each pool. And those are the words I came up with. So what I'm going to do now, I'll leave this open, but what I'm going to do now is end the recording. Let's see how I do that. This way.